Steamed bananas.
I live to serve. Triple brewed roctacino. Hot as hell. Hold the nutmeg. Nothing like coming home to an unexpected hostage, am I right? Every word of that is bad news.
Hello and good evening. It is Thursday, March 3rd, 2022, and we just finished watching the 11th episode of Star Trek Discovery's 4th season titled Rosetta. I'm Dave Mader coming at you here live on Live Long and Podcast, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. It's a busy day here in Star Trek as we had also Star Trek Picard going on, and Jodie Simpson and Davin Scalehorn over covering that, the newest episode for their 2nd season today as well. So, I think they're still going because we're having a hard time streaming to Twitch right now because I think they're streaming over to our Twitch channel. It's still, come on, Jodie, you need an hour and a half to talk about this episode. Get it done. Get it done, man. Anyway, we got a great panel to talk about Star Trek Discovery in the 32nd century tonight here. First, we got Ashley Millard joining us.
Hello.
Welcome back.
You know, I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. You've been on hiatus for a few weeks. We're also missing Adam Woodward tonight as he is traveling for business, but we have Discovery's own Michael Chan with us.
Hey.
Straight out of Starbase at headquarters, or Jurassic Park.
In Starfleet PJs here.
Yeah,
because Jurassic Park is still a thing.
Like the Voth, it's like all the dinosaurs. And so we are going to be breaking down this whole episode. The Rosetta Stone. They have to they're on this mission to communicate with species 10C. And so this episode is picking up exactly where we left off last week. Discovery is outside of the galaxy. They are looking to make first contact with species 10C, the species behind the dark matter anomaly, also known as the DMA. I know, Twitch. I know, Twitch. I don't know what to tell you. It keeps popping up. It's like, we can't do it. So they have 29 hours left before the DMA will destroy both Earth and Navarre, which is very concerning to many people aboard Discovery. Basically this episode was focusing on this idea that Discovery needs more information, as much intelligence as they can gather about 10C before they actually try to make the first contact. And so I guess the net result here was that they burned about 4 or 5 hours doing sort of this research mission on the planet. Meanwhile, we have like a kind of a couple of side plots on Discovery while this is happening, mainly focusing around Tarka and Book, even though they're not on Discovery, they're on their own book ship. But they've come out of the galactic barrier. We didn't see it. They got through. We assume they rode a big space cell or whatever Discovery had to do to get through it, and they're here now. But they're cloaked, and they want to get some information about what Discovery's up to, because they're ultimately just want to get the power source from the DMA. So that kind of ties into Book and Tarka like infiltrating Discovery tonight on kind of a reconnaissance mission, and to install some spy stuff. Sorry, just noticed that. Sorry. And what happens is Tall and Jet Reno's in this episode a lot, and I liked that quite a bit.
Glad she's back.
Always a pleasure to have her on the show. And she gets kidnapped by the end of this, and she's been taken hostage by Tarka and Book, I guess, now too. To add to their list of charges against both of them, kidnapping a Starfleet officer. Okay, I've spoken enough.
And that's the entire episode. Thank you for watching. That's the end of this. No.
Well, that's plot-wise. That's kind of the high level, because before we started the show, Kevin, who's with Ashley, there was kind of saying, "What's happening in the show?" I'm just wanting to make sure Kevin knows.
Can we talk about how the episode actually opened with the captain's log?
Oh, we got an infiltrator here.
Oh my God, Admiral,
hello.
How are you doing?
Finished another podcast, so we thought
I thought you were back in the 25th century. What are you doing here in the 32nd?
You know what? Sometimes you got to time travel, my friend. That's how it works.
I thought you were going back in time. Q was sending you back in time.
We were sent back in time. We just wanted to know how your episode was because ours was fantastic.
You got my rating?
I did get your rating. You were the lowest rating out of everybody, but that's fine. But you might even have somebody else showing up in a minute. I'm just going to let you know. But
For Discovery?
There might be another guy here coming in.
What a crowd. We got a crowd.
Whoa, everybody's here.
Everybody's here to talk Discovery.
Hello, Ashley. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Discovery's own Michael Chan.
Hey,
How are you?
good.
I believe
Good to
I'm
see you guys.
entitled to. I actually have to say that now.
Yeah,
I must say, I'm
Discovery
surprised.
you.
Jody told us we were crashing a wedding.
Oh man, wasn't a wedding. Anyway, we just
No.
thought we'd say hi, guys.
Well,
Yeah,
Dave
well,
and I are
have
now
a good show.
polyamorous, and we are getting married. So thank you.
Mhm. It's like the Denoblians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
Like
like
Anyway.
that.
3 each.
Hey, so the good thing was we were able to start our stream before you guys got off. But
We
except
went
for
long. We went
for-
long.
except for
Davin and I
Twitch.
just kept talking.
YouTube and Facebook, we can keep going, but Twitch was like, hey, we can't seem to stream to Twitch because it seems like you have another feed going into Twitch.
We
It's
apologize for that. We went a little long.
that's right.
We'll definitely make mention of that next time, and we're sorry. Only to
We're
Ashley
sorry.
though. We're not sorry to the rest of you.
Sorry, Ashley.
Only Ashley.
Dave was
sorry,
there
Ashley.
with us. His comments were all through our podcast there. So.
I did watch the episode earlier, and I did give you a bunch of comments. So
It was a
And your
great
rating
episode.
Was offensive, I will say.
Your rating was offensive.
my
That's
rating
quite
was
offensive.
fair. You guys,
You know what,
Davin,
It
that's
was
what you
offensive.
get for rating who throws the first stone so low.
I gave it a 5 or something.
Yeah, too low.
I thought that was generous. You know what? I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Enjoy your
forget this.
Discovery
I'm
Talk,
leaving.
everybody. Yeah,
I'm
we're out of
leaving.
here.
All
All right,
right.
get it, Picard, go back to the 25th century or
We
whatever
will, and
century
we'll
you're gonna
enjoy
be
it.
this
And
season.
remember, we have Q and you don't.
It's undetermined by the end. I'm not sure what century.
Yeah,
we're in
but
anymore.
our show has an actual cast member, so
Yeah, come on.
Hey.
We're
Just remember, guys. All right.
How do you know I
Trial
don't
never
play
ends.
Chris Rios on Picard?
The trial never ends.
You could be Chris Rios.
Yeah.
I could see it. All right. What? That was an infiltration. That was a takeover.
Don't you make me come
Oh,
back.
oh my god, guys.
All right. Let's get back to Discovery. Back to the 32nd century.
I love that they had a captain's log.
Yes.
What?
I
Okay. What do you
appreciated
mean?
it.
Do we not normally get a captain's log?
No,
no.
Okay. I didn't pick up on that.
I was just like, whoa, we get a captain's log? Damn.
I guess I didn't really thought about it. It didn't occur to me that this was out of the norm for Michael Burnham.
For disco, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, captain's log.
We got a captain's log. We got them seeking out strange new worlds,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
new civilizations.
They mentioned
Fantastic.
Final Frontiers.
and no
Final
more
Frontier?
walking. No more walking onto a shuttle. Now they actually beam onto it. Which
Just
makes
beam
sense.
on. There's
Because
no.
we've been talking about that. They're always walking. Well, no,
It was very Star Trek-y tonight.
very,
Very
Star Trek-y.
very. I was in love with this episode.
Yeah.
Starting with again, you got to get President Rillick and her group of delegates just questioning every little thing they're doing, and what's more Star Trek than some high up diplomat or admiral or whoever telling the captain how to run their ship.
That's
you
right.
know, even though they kind of had a conversation about this early on, and they were like, "Stop! You can't be questioning me all the time." Okay, I won't, but I will every time you make a decision, just so you know.
And then all of those delegates coming onto the ship and still questioning.
Right? Yeah,
So in that screenshot there, while Rillick and Burnham were having the conversation, I remember watching the episode and going, So did the directors just tell everybody else to stand in the background, face away, and look badass?
Yeah,
They were
show your
really
badass.
still.
To the,
They were really still and really badass. They weren't even talking to each other, nothing. They just like stared into the distance the entire time.
they
Good
were.
job, guys.
They're like just kind of look up at the sky and pretend like
Right.
you're waiting for the captain.
As someone who's in the industry, these are the things I think about. I'm like, Not even a word with each other? Okay, cool. It's the badass pose moment. Cool.
Yeah, they're just posing because they were like, well, okay, I understand. The president's like, I understand why you need to go on this mission, Michael Burnham, because you're a xenoanthropologist or whatever. But do you have to take Saru too? Because he's like the only other captain kind of guy here. And she's like, don't worry, you got Lieutenant Commander Nielsen, the blonde lady up on the bridge, right? And I was like, oh, I don't know if that's who you should leave in command. Maybe I think Jet Reno should be in command if both of those people leave the ship. She should be like the logical next in line, but they give it to her, to Nilsson.
I don't think her bedside manner would be good if the ship is hailed.
No, but she's like Scotty would come up and command the bridge when Kirk and Spock weren't there. So to me, it's like, and she is a commander. So to me, like she outranks Nilsson as well. Anyway. Yeah, because Nelson's a lieutenant commander.
Oh, right, you're right.
But doesn't work on the bridge, and she's got a grumpy bedside manner or something like that. Grumpy lady, as Target would call her. Anyway, so Adoye is she gets recruited by Book in this mission to basically be a spy on Discovery, to kind of feed Tarka and Book information and potentially even work with them even further than that. So they're setting this up for down the line. That, Adoye and United Earth as it stands in the 32nd century has kind of learned maybe to do things on their own or take things into their own hands all the time, because
they're also a little bit more aggressive. Almost. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say they're Mirrorverse like, but I say they're a little bit closer to that than I would have expected, which is not a bad thing. I think it's an interesting take on where Earth and what we would be like if something like this happened, right? If
the burn, the post-burn, what Earth is kind of still very much a paranoid, sort of isolated world to an extent, and has been for a couple centuries, I guess, or so. But yeah, like she's like, I hear you, General Adoye, but I gotta get down there. I gotta do some xenoanthropology. Just give me a couple hours, and this mission will be worth it. They're like, fine, but we don't want to see Earth destroyed. She's like, I don't want to see Earth destroyed. And Michael Burnham makes this point a few times where she's like, Navarre and Earth are the two planets that would mean the most to me. So if anybody's motivated, it's me. So don't worry about it. I'm trying to solve this, but the fear and the doubt exist. And then, we get the, I love the badass, as you mentioned, the badass shot as they just kind of like hover above their little pod here. And then just a second later, they are inside of it. I wish I could show you it, but they go out there. Also, Ashley, you weren't on the podcast last week, but did you notice that we had somebody from Supernatural who's now who's on the ship?
No.
No. Well, here, let me jog your memory
again
a little bit here. Let me just pull it up here.
Oh wait, I think you mentioned this, but I don't remember.
Do you remember that episode, Changing Channels, where Sam and Dean?
Oh, yes. He's the doctor guy.
Nutcracker!
Yes. Yeah, he's like the doctor, right? The delegate of the doctor or whatever.
Doctor
Nutcracker?
Dr. Nutcracker, I like to call him, or he's always just kind of negative, and what he says to them as they're going out.
Make the trip count. Don't screw it up.
Make the trip count. Don't screw it up. Because look how unimpressed they all are as they're flying away. They're like, oh my God, this Michael Burnham. What are we going to do with her?
I want more of this Ferengi. We keep seeing the Ferengi and we have no idea. I want to know more.
Yeah, he's the Ferengi delegate, I guess.
But I want to know more about what's going on Ferenginar.
Yeah, we haven't heard the Ferengis talk yet, have we?
No.
No.
Maybe he had a line, maybe?
No, I don't think he's even spoken. We saw also a Ferengi captain at one point. Earlier in the season.
Maybe next season.
Yeah, but not talking. I do find that the redesign, good. I think it's got it's not too far.
I want to know more.
It looks good.
But Dr. Nutcracker is still waiting for his time to shine. And Rillick kind of finds him later on in the episode and says, hey, like, you can't be, don't be so negative towards everything. Don't screw it up. That's not helping things. And they're like, yeah, okay. He's like, yeah, okay. Because as he's playing like crossword puzzles or whatever, ancient technology he learned from Kovich. And can we just talk about once the away team gets down to the planet? I have to kind of start with these EV suits that we get.
Oh, I like them.
These were great.
Yes, loved it.
I'm massively in love with these.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only have one critique. Do you know what it is?
Uh-oh.
What?
Okay, I like how Culber's has got the white accents because he's in the medical division, and Detmer's has the yellow because she's operations, and then these two, like, it would make sense logically that their accents would be red because they're from the command division, but they're not. They're black.
Huh.
Silence. Silence.
Oh yeah.
I think that they would just look better with like the red accents because I really do like Culber and Detmer's suits more so than Burnham and Saru's.
I mean, I guess.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't cross my mind.
I pay attention.
But this is a Dave thing, so
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But that aside, that one critique aside, it didn't ruin it for me or anything. These were really cool, and I really like how they kind of integrated into the episode because, Kevin and I and Jody were talking on Enterprise the other day when they had to wear EV suits to go into their mission that we watched, and like we talked about how often they just want to get their helmets off as quickly as possible whenever you have to wear a spacesuit on Star Trek. It's like because you have to ADR all those lines. You gotta like mostly everything's fogging up. I think it's harder to shoot these shows when you're wearing a helmet the whole time, right? And even in like For All Mankind, whatever. But this they committed to it. They were wearing the helmets the entire episode, pretty much, and it worked. I thought like it wasn't a problem. Michael, have you ever had to wear a spacesuit as an actor for any kind of scenes or anything like that?
Yeah, I once did it was like it's basically stuff like 3D stuff or 4D stuff for an amusement park in China, in Wuhan of all places.
Oh, okay, I've heard of them.
So I played a cyborg emperor villain person and had to wear an entire suit, but with cape included.
Yeah.
Because,
do you think these EV suits could have used a cape?
No, please no.
No, that wouldn't have been good.
If we learned anything from The Incredibles, capes aren't safe.
No. And oh my god, it was so heavy. I mean, I imagine I was a cyborg, so really it wouldn't have mattered, but still.
Yeah. And what do you guys think of just everything on the planet? Because they were like, I don't know, I was struggling to kind of follow what they were following as they were finding the bones, and I guess they called it like, what do they call it? Like hydrocarbon substance or something like that. And I was a little bit just because they kind of explained that this species live inside gas giants. Is that what's going on? They're like huge monster dinosaurs who live inside gas giants. Is that what you guys got, or what did you take from all this? Like, what did they learn on this mission? Really?
I mean, they learned that they have like human-like emotions.
Yes.
They feel similar emotions to us. They found more stuff after they came back, and then they did more surveying of the planet. They found even more of this and this like dust stuff.
Dad wants to know about his keys.
So you infiltrate us with Picard stuff, and now you infiltrate us with talk about real life loss of keys.
Yeah, you did, Davin, actually, and they're mine now. Sorry. Where were we? But did we like? I guess what I was maybe hoping for in this episode was to learn more about what the species actually looks like. I don't think like I guess we got to.
I'm kind of glad that we don't, though. I hope that they kind of learn a little bit about the species, but don't know anything until they're literally face to face with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like right now they talked about those things outside the building potentially being bones, right?
Bones and cartilage and like
Potentially.
Right, and they're huge. If
They're
that's
huge.
the case, whatever these things are, they're massive.
right. So there's something like what Kovic was saying, like whatever we think we know about 10C, we don't. And you know, we gotta throw it out there. So I think that they are going to be something so different from any other alien we've ever seen before. That, you know, I guess they're building up to it, albeit maybe a bit slowly. You know, because it's like 1 week we got to get out of the galaxy. Next week we got to do more reconnaissance. Next week it's like this. And Book and Tarka have been like kind of trailing along for a number of weeks now. And
I just hope they're not just the engineers from Prometheus.
Yeah, we have 2 more episodes after this, right? So like I
Yes.
think that
Kevin was hoping that it was the crashed generational ship from the original series, but they all lost their memories, and that the new species was just called the Haynars.
Hello, Hayna. You mean from our episode of By Any Other Name from
That's
the
right,
original
from
series
the original series.
the earliest, the first radio theater that Michael was on, if memory serves, and
I think so, yeah.
and with that one, yeah, like there was that species, what they called the Keldans.
I forgot already, man.
Yeah,
No, they were the Andromedans, right?
They're from
Andromedans.
Andromeda.
Yeah, but they were just called the Andromedans. They didn't have a
No.
name in the episode.
Yeah, they did. Kelvins. They were Kelvins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Kevins.
And not the Kelvin timeline?
And not the USS Kelvin. Very different. Kelvin with an AN. Kelvan. But we are Kelvins. Kelvins do not colonize. We conquer. Because my version of the Kelvin was like Colonel Klink from what's that show called? Hogan's Heroes, or something like that. Yeah. So they're not from the galaxy. But we also learned is that like their planet was destroyed by some kind of natural disaster or something like about 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, and they're like, well, maybe that's something we can connect with them on, or like they have like this. We're learning a bit more about their history, and this is what Michael Burnham is insisting on. She's like, if we just kind of like fly up to them and we don't know anything about them, it's probably gonna go bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need this side mission, this little field trip was worth it.
Do you remember that episode of Enterprise where Hoshi figured out how to communicate with that new species they encountered? That I forgot how they communicated, but I think they look like kind of like gas or light or something.
Do you know what season it is, or
no? Maybe first. It's been a while. I just remember that episode really well because like they were talking about developing the translator, right? And then Hoshi like figures out how to communicate with the species. I thought that was an interesting thing because I was thinking back to that episode when I was watching this and going, it makes sense that they would try to find a way to communicate before they even attempt to talk to the 10C, because Burnham isn't exactly wrong, right? Like if you have zero context and you just bump into a species, kind of like an Enterprise, a lot of stuff is going to go wrong before.
No, I think almost everyone on the ship agrees it's the right thing to do, but they're like, the clock's ticking. Our planets are about to be destroyed.
But didn't they say that there was a problem with just bursting into the hyperfield?
I think so, and that's the thing. I know they've explained some of this stuff to us, but I'm still like, what's the hyperfield again? And what's going on?
Basically, last
A lot of
episode,
science.
they said that they've detected this thing that's like a field, right? A massive field, and inside it is like a planet,
Right.
of some, or potentially a planet, and so they theorize that that's where the 10C are. But this hyperfield makes it very difficult for them to get there or detect stuff. I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what they said about it. I just know.
I think we're all struggling to kind of like that. That's a little bit of my critique of this season is like pacing wise and just trying, because we haven't met this species yet, and there's all this like kind of stuff being explained to us like weeks ago. I'm like, okay, what's happening?
If I had
Uh,
binged this, I think I would remember a lot
Sure.
more. It's
Yeah,
going
same.
back to the old week by week format, but sometimes some things.
Well, and like Star Trek, but they're choosing to release this as a week-to-week show. They could choose.
I'm not saying. I mean, dude, even with other shows, I have this problem. It doesn't matter if it's Trek or anything else, and this is my entire life, not just Trek. I always forget the little details here and there. So I think we have the gist, right? Hyperfield, planet inside, potentially 10C. Now they're going to try to figure out a way to communicate so that they'll somehow get into hyperfield, go talk to them.
Yeah, I guess sometimes what I'm trying to figure out, because I do like sitting down and going through the episode week to week and saying, what do we think about this and what's coming next? What's the speculation? And that's fun. But long term, these seasons are going to live in streaming, and most people will binge them. Right. So I think that they have to write them, I guess, for the long term life of them. Not just about what they here are in 2022, but but from a pacing perspective, I guess it's harder sometimes week to week. And then I think about shows like Ozark or whatever, who just drop all their episodes, their whole season at once.
And just remember that we are living in a half season world now, right? One season is essentially what used to be half a season,
right?
So they have a lot more to fit into. A lot less, which, mind you, would make them have to be a lot more concise.
Yeah.
But it's also hard. Like I recognize the difficulty that we face these days.
Yeah.
This is the first season of Discovery that I've watched week to week and haven't just binged straight through.
Yeah. Same.
That's why I was like, why do I have no Jet Reno quotes in here? I have her as Nataro. That's
Jet
her?
Reno's awesome today.
Jet Reno was awesome today. Okay, let's talk about her. We kind of already.
Speaking of, it just reminded me when you were talking about quotes. Petition to change our safe word from cinnamon banana to steamed bananas.
Steamed bananas, I think. Yes, I think. By the way, because I really loved everything with Linus tonight. Like, they don't give this guy enough lines.
Steamed bananas.
I love Linus.
He's back. He's back to the comedy, man.
He's back. They don't use him enough.
No. Well, they don't use Jet Reno enough either.
Yeah.
No, they don't. You're right. Just seeing if I can find a shot of Linus in this episode.
Those two are gold.
They're. I don't think I don't remember them ever being sort of paired up before, but they were funny.
They're gold on their own, and now they're paired up, which is even better. It's like epic gold this episode.
I can only find Jet Jet Reno. Okay, so she starts off this her part in this episode ordering the rack de Gino, which I really liked.
Triple brewed Roctagino. Hot as hell. Hold the nutmeg.
When you have to power through, nothing beats.
When you have to power through, nothing beats the bitter elixir of Klingon warriors.
The bitter elixir of Klingon warriors. What a sales pitch.
That sounds like something very different.
Yeah. And she's
Can I say
talking
something about her uniform for you.
Sure.
You notice how her collar is split in the middle?
Yep.
The plate is split in the middle.
Yes.
That would probably have to be custom made just for this episode or just
this scene, because that's not how they actually attach, right? It's
Oh, interesting.
Not at all.
But that's okay. But like, I if you go back to like Star Trek: The Next Generation with their uniforms, like there's an episode. It's the first episode with Ro Laren. I think it's just called Ensign Ro, that episode. And there's a part where she takes her uniform off and she puts it like onto a girl, a young like Bajoran girl on this planet, and like she kind of like they cut away and then she like tears it open because it makes it look like that there's like an invisible seam sort of down like the shirt, but it's not. Right. And so, yeah, like you're right. They're probably doing the same thing here to kind of show that collar is almost like programmable matter and you can kind of like pull it apart.
Yeah.
But in real life, it couldn't be like that because that's also where they keep the sound, the mics, right? The microphone is there.
I'm pretty sure I know how they did it for this one too. But I'm just saying that based on how I know the normal uniforms are put on and how everything's attached, this one's a custom job.
They need to put some pips on those collars. I'm telling you, man. Like the way.
Mention it to the costume.
Uniform talk.
Uniform talk. I'm gonna go for it. And so, but her conversation with Adira, Tall, and Tall's talking about their admiration of Detmer. Detmer's always got it so together. Detmer is so cool, calm, and collected. And Reno's like, "What? Do you have like a thing for Detmer? That Gray is now gone. Are you not loyal to Gray, Adira?" But Adira says, "No, it's not like that. It's more like a hero worship." And Reno gives Adira a lot of like advice here, like don't walk up to her and say you want to be her. That's creepy. Just kind of try to like take it off of her. And she and also the point of her little speech to Adira is even the people who seem they got like it all together, everybody's like kind of a hot mess on the inside. Everyone has self-doubt. Everyone's got problems like that. Even those who don't seem like it. So don't you can be that too, but you just have to like learn. That comes with time and experience and sort of whatever, and it's always going to be a battle. I really like, again, like always love Jet Reno on this show, and I like the writing they give her, not just the comedy, but also some maybe the moments with more levity to them.
I've noticed this season they've done a really good job, by the way, of starting to flesh out the bridge crew, and this episode seems to be Detmer's one. It's her turn today.
Yeah, for sure. Like Detmer definitely got more play this episode. And
they also gave her some backstory, which is good.
Right. Now that like I was saying, like I think that there wasn't like room on this show anymore for Mary Wiseman as Tilly. It felt like her leaving kind of has opened up a lot of screen time for a bunch of other people.
It has,
for better or worse, depending on your how much of a Tilly stan you are. But yeah, like good moments. Like I think the fun thing with Adira is that Adira can kind of be like just this young kind of character that can kind of like a Wesley Crusher-esque type, who is just learning from the rest, like even like Nog on Deep Space Nine, like that junior officer who the other officers can sort of take under their wing and teach things and you can have good moments, and you can also kind of show off what they know, because they don't always get a chance to always demonstrate that, right? Or be teachers. Anyway, maybe just back to, I also want to kind of talk about this like cave that they found, that I thought was really cool looking. Like it turns out to be the nursery that Michael Burnham and Detmer and Saru and Culber find, but I didn't know what the heck they were in, right? And so they're experiencing all these visions from the hydrocarbons. This is what we figure out, but like it hits Saru first, where it's almost like his threat ganglia had grown back, and he's like, I haven't felt this fear in a while. And then it gets Culber next, and then eventually it hits Michael, and then it moves, but Detmer's unaffected. And I was like, is it Detmer's implants? Is that what's giving Detmer immunity? But it just turns out that Detmer didn't touch the hydrocarbons, the blue dust. I guess it's like almost like blood. Is that what I don't know what the heck hydrocarbons are supposed to be, but Michael, you're a scientist.
They dropped hints early, right? When Saru stepped in it the first time, the camera went down just for a second, and there was like the noise of him stepping in it.
Right.
So they've already hinted right from the beginning that was going to be significant. I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're able to kind of like problem solve around this. They're like, well, okay, like if maybe we can filter that out with using our programmable matter in our suits, and then later on, Michael Burnham like allows that to like come in. Right. And is able to, like, we have to like learn from this, but in a controlled manner, not just all at once, which I thought was good too. Again, like I think it's a kind of a slower episode, but like I think it's all important story beats for what I think they're trying to build up to.
Yeah.
It's
a good away mission episode. I felt
it's a great really good episode. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, like I thought again. I love the suits, and I love like how that's kind of playing into the story, and just the way it made the scenes look, especially when they got into this dark environment, and those suits sort of glowing in them. I thought that was really neat too.
I felt what was also interesting is like this is one of those episodes. Like, let's say you haven't watched any Discovery at all, and you don't really know what's going on. But at least if you watch this single episode, you get sort of what their mission is, and then the rest of it is actually very watchable on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I liked about it a lot. Like this whole away mission was just it was good. It was really, really good. It was really well done.
It was for sure. Oh, here they are. I was like, yeah. Then we got the whole
Yeah. All the
Linus.
side stories were fantastic today.
Linus and Reno. Okay, this little exchange between them because so Book goes off to I'm going to recruit a Doye. This wasn't on their plan when they first beamed over. They were just going to come over here and install their little device or whatever they were planning to do. But in the process, Book gets this idea. What if we get Odoye on our side and she can kind of be like a mole for us here, and so Tarka goes another way, and so he's but they were kind of listening to the conversations earlier on, and he sabotages the replicators because he has to install his device in engineering, but he has to like do it in a place that would normally have people in it. And I just love this whole exchange with Reno and Linus.
What kind of idiot would pull a practical joke in the middle of an existential threat?
I don't know.
Well, then get off comms and get me an answer.
Hi, Commander.
Hi, Commander. Just, where's this Linus guy? Where's he on the show every week? Adoye. Okay, Adoye. What did you guys think of Adoye and Book? In their whole I guess. Are we still following along with Book? Are we, I guess like Tarka, I kind of understand because Tarka's just on his mission based on what we saw last week. But Book is like, I'm struggling with Book. Because he's like, I'm rogue, I'm doing this mission with Tarka, I'm trying to solve the DMA, and if I see Michael, I'm going to my heart will melt and I can't handle it. And I'm like, come on, Book, just come home and stop this. Come to your senses, but he won't. They'd be stronger working together as a team here. Instead, they're still doing these two different paths. And Tarka says a few things to him. He's like, listen, when this is all done, we're trying to save billions of people. One of those is Michael. They'll get it eventually. And that argument seems to still be prevailing on Book. And I'm just like, I guess if I was Book, it would not be. So maybe but I'm not Book.
I think they're still pushing the idea, right? That there's two different approaches to dealing with the 10C, right?
Yeah.
First contact. And what if first contact fails? They're going to have to blow shit up. So
right. Well, it's not unlike some of the issues we're dealing with the crisis in Ukraine right now and and all those things. If we do this, it means this, but if it goes bad, really bad, and so there's big gravity to these decisions. But
if Book and Tarka come home, they're just going to get arrested. So what can they do?
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't think Michael can do anything to make life easier for Book.
No,
he's now kidnapped a Starfleet officer. He's a
oh no, it's worse now. But I'm just saying, had Book and Tarka be like, you know what, let's just join forces. No. Rillick is going to have their head. Well, maybe she won't kill them, but they're going to end up in the brig and do nothing.
Yeah, they Federation penal colony in their future, I think.
And I think that part of that is why they can't come back. It's just they know how far gone legally, I guess, they are, and so they're just gonna do their thing and try to. It is slightly weaker of a story arc now, but I'm still with it. I want to see where this goes.
Yeah, because I remember where we started. I remember how amped up Book was for the beginning of the season, how distraught he was. And now it's with each passing week, and more time's going by for us than is in the story, right? In the story, it's only been a couple of weeks or a couple of whatever.
Well, his convictions definitely aren't as strong as before, but I mean,
you can see the cracks
right.
We're already there. He was already ready to kick Tarka off forever, and Tarka keeps reconvincing him.
Tarka's a smart guy, and now he has a hostage, and Book's like, well, crap, I'm an accomplice.
Very persuasive. I want to know how he got the drop on Jet Reno.
That I was like, oh guys, come on. That's
Because she found him.
she did. She
I don't
also
know.
is a Starfleet
Well,
officer. There has to be martial arts training.
Is she
Just
really kidnapped?
Oh, that's a fair point.
Interesting. Interesting.
If you
theory.
stumbled across him, has she decided to join forces with them? We
But
have to
why
wait
would-
till next week?
But then why would they keep Book in the dark about that?
Well, she could have been like the way she said it. It could have been tongue in cheek.
True. You could interpret it a few
The
different
way
ways.
she the way she said it.
Here, I have it here.
Nothing like coming home to an unexpected hostage, am I right?
Yeah, it's kind of ambiguous. Nothing like
Yeah.
it.
It's badass line, badass delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. Can we talk about just after the mission's over, we get like quickly Adira goes up to Detmer and they have
That
a
was
kind of a
cute.
moment. It was nice, you
Mhm.
know. Right. And then right after that there's a conversation with Culber and Burnham in her quarters, I guess. Where Culber kind of says like he's still not too good. He's still struggling with a lot of issues, and Michael's like, I would imagine you would be. You've had a go of things. You came back from the dead, and much like what Kovich kind of said to him, you know, when Culber reached out to Kovich, whenever that was many weeks ago, and you know, like I think it's important, but on the other hand, sometimes I think they get hung up on it. Like, you know, it keeps coming. Like maybe it can't be resolved, or maybe that's like a deliberate choice on the part of the writers to say, like, you know, these guys are dealing with issues. Like, unlike, you know, like when Picard got assimilated by the Borg, he basically had 1 week where he got into a fist fight with his brother in the vineyards, and he was fine after that.
Yeah,
You know,
he was fine until
First contact.
first contact, and that's not how PTSD works.
No.
Right. So more realistic, I
It
guess.
is more realistic.
We are in 2022, and you know, Trek evolves with time. And I would think that a discussion about mental health and taking it seriously in that regard is something that I think matters and is good. You can't, if they did what they used to do, I think a lot of people would probably feel like it's unrealistic.
Yeah. That he died and then, but also went through a bunch of other stuff, but is fine after a couple of weeks because we only want to mention it a couple of times.
For me, I just felt it was a very relatable moment. A lot of the moments today were mental health moments were very relatable. I think that's one of the strengths of this series is that they've been very good with making characters to have issues and deal with issues in such a way that for us as viewers, even though we live, you know, in the now and not in this crazy sci-fi future, we can still connect to this and feel something and feel like we're not alone. And in you know, I think that's important and in the spirit of Trek. So
it definitely feels like I guess what I comment on it because it's new. It's net new to Star Trek to an extent. I think like they don't normally come back to these kinds of things with characters because it used to be so more episodic, and this is so much more serialized.
right.
And so I'm always like, okay, Culber's got issues, Detmer's got issues, Saru's got issues, Michael's got issues. They all have issues.
They all have issues. We all have issues. Everyone has issues.
Yeah. Stamets has got issues. Like Stamets barely had anything to do in this episode, but he was just like,
Jet Reno.
Like, we can really do this.
Stamets was like, we can really do this, eh, Captain? Like we can maybe save the galaxy. That'd be cool. Like we've kind of done it before, but it's all right.
Save the galaxy again.
Again, like third time, isn't it? At least
Something like that.
Yeah. And then we kind of all mentioned this. She seems to be behind a force field, Jet Reno here, for this ending, along with whatever this cargo is.
Well, going with Ashley's theory, maybe
it's an interesting theory, though.
She's working on something in there, whatever her, so that if it blows up, you know.
Yeah, I would like to understand how Tarkin got her in there. Because when he was like hiding under like a desk, wasn't he? Like when she found him in like the engineering section.
He heard her come in, so maybe he had some sort of trap
He must have.
that we
What?
would. I think we're going to find out next week.
Well,
Yeah, all she would have had to do is hit her
find out.
comm badge and go security, and that would have been that, right? Like, so.
Yeah.
Unless he was able to get her off the ship before security got there.
That's the only. He somehow got her. Yeah, he somehow kidnapped her, got her out of the ship, got her off the ship, and into a force field on board ship, without much resistance.
She's
I guess.
super smart, so maybe he said something that convinced her to give it a shot.
Maybe, yeah.
As
Like
Ashley said.
Yeah, it was an interesting twist to the ending, and then Tarka just like the look he gives Book is just like,
It brought us wanting to watch the next episode. Did its job.
Play the Curb your enthusiasm music here. Okay, let's talk ratings, guys.
Yeah.
And see what we want to rate this episode. I already rated it this morning, 7.5, which was higher than I gave the Picard episode.
You gave the Picard episode less than 7.5?
I did. I gave it.
I haven't watched it, so I can't comment.
No, but that's how I felt about it this morning. Adam's not with us tonight, so we'll have to get his rating later. But Michael, what's your rating?
9.
And Ashley?
10.
10? Oh, wow.
Yay. 10 on an episode that I'm not in.
Yeah. Do you remember the last 2 episodes, or Ashley, if you wanted to?
Yeah, Galactic Barrier, I'm 9.8.
9.8 for that? Okay.
And then Rubicon, I'll give an 8.5 as well.
5. Okay. And then there we go. Okay, so for our 3 scores tonight, the aggregate is 8.8 out of 10. So I checked it earlier. It was sitting at a 4.3 on IMDb,
as expected.
IMDb is always low.
On Discovery. On Discovery.
Oh,
only.
you should see like the Discovery Facebook and this Discovery Instagram. Oh my God, the comment section is just everyone who hates it. So
yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't go on those because I don't want to listen to everyone complain about Discovery because I like it. So
it's up to a 4.7. Everybody. Oh no,
I listen to enough complaining about it at home.
I don't read everything. I just I click on it and it like literally is just a lot of Brenham crying. I'm like, here we go again.
It's the same on Reddit. Like I'm on a bunch of the Star Trek subreddits. It's the same thing. Everyone blasting Discovery, and I'm like, whatever.
But specifically Discovery.
Specifically,
yeah, it gets.
Funny,
I don't.
It gets old because I like it. Like there's no like you have to if you like the like 90s stuff, you can't like the new stuff, or if you like I like all of it.
Vice versa. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I like here's the thing. Like I remember growing up with Trek, and like each new series that comes out is just constant people complaining. Mind you, we didn't have the internet or a lot of internet or fast and whatever. We didn't have as many avenues to vent. But like even back then, people I knew who were Trekkies were like, I hate this DS9. And then I hate this Voyager. What is that?
Oh yeah. I would say
female captain.
Right.
Space station.
Different uniforms.
Oh my God. And then Enterprise, for the longest time, people were like, that's not Star Trek. That's not Star. I'm like, every single series goes through the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Give Discovery
Even the original
10 years. Whatever comes after it, everyone will hate on that, and then all of a sudden, Discovery will be the best. So,
yeah, every show is going to get a ton of criticism, no matter what. I think is just the reality of it. Just the credit, just credit who was on this episode. Jeff Bird and Jen McGowan were the directors. So again, we had co-directors. For this. Yeah, Jen. She directed your episode, didn't she? Or she co-directed the one you were in.
She did.
This episode written by Terry Hughes Burden, solo, and I don't know. I guess I don't know if this was really anybody's episode specifically.
Give it to Detmer.
Detmer, maybe a little bit of Jet Reno.
Reno's back.
Linus.
Back.
Oh, Linus is up.
Linus with the steamed bananas.
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go.
Team Bananas.
I gotta get that going on here. Wrap the text. There we go. Okay. So that is episode 11, everybody, and our 8.8 rating. And we don't know the. I wish they would tell us the titles sometimes ahead of time. But
Well,
next week's episode.
How many episodes do we have in this season? 13?
13 in total. Yep. So we got next week, and then we got one more after that, and then that will be season 4 of Discovery.
All right.
So I imagine, we're all leading up to some kind of great cliffhanger with the 10C.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, and I don't.
Not that I know anything.
Not that you know, Michael, but I think you do, or there's a good chance you do. Yeah. So I'm like we've been saying, I would almost rather at this point this conflict kind of continue into next season, maybe. Like I don't know. Like it feels like the everything with them. I don't want them to wrap it up too quickly after all this build up. We haven't even met these guys yet. I think that there's more to go there. So, but we'll see how I feel after these next 2 episodes. On everything else, but good episode overall, and I enjoyed it, and I liked it more than the Picard episode that came out today too.
I would have given this episode 10, but there's no me, so then
there's no me. If it's no Michael Chan, no tens for me on Discovery without Michael Chan. That's my new policy. Anyway, okay, so maybe we can plug our different shows and just mention everything else we do here on Live Long and Podcast. Again, regrets from Adam Woodward. He was actually going to go over on the Picard podcast tonight, but then he couldn't make that one either because he was on the West Coast. But we'll have him back next week, and we'll catch up with him then as well. So on Thursdays right now for the next 3 weeks, we're talking about Picard and Discovery here on Live Long and Podcast, capturing their newest episodes. But on Monday nights, we also have our Star Trek Enterprise rewatch, where we've been going through every episode of Star Trek Enterprise one by one with Kevin Millard and Jody Simpson. And who else is on that podcast with us? Adam. Who am I? So many podcasts. And then on Tuesday nights, Star Trek's Deep Space Nine rewatch. We're up to season 5, episode 13, I believe. We just watched a great Ryza episode the other night. Well, at least I thought it was great, and Ashley thought it was great, and Kevin thought it was pretty good. But then there was a bunch of haters over there, like Davin, who didn't like it, and Jeff gave it a 3.
I don't understand it. So good. When Kevin
a 3.
Yes, when Kevin told me that, I was shy. He was like, Dave and I were the only ones that liked it. And I was like, what? It's such a good episode.
I know. Jaemeel was negative on it. Like, listen, I like Ryza.
So much fun.
Is that why you gave Picard such a low score? Is this revenge?
Revenge.
No, that's what I told Davin. But it was more...
Best served cold?
It wasn't quite retaliatory. It was more just that it's just how I feel about the episode. I really loved that episode. And sometimes there's just too much going on. Like I like sometimes a slower story, like less going on. And so I really enjoyed it. So every Tuesday night we talk about an episode of Star Trek's Deep Space Nine. It's getting more and more controversial in this 5th season. Jeff likes different things than me, and so our ratings go different ways, and we argue. I actually won't be able to be on next Tuesday night. I got Leafs tickets, so I'm going to that instead. Leafs and Seattle Kraken. And then we are right now we have our other thing we do here on Live Long and Podcast is something called Star Trek Radio Theater, where we do script reads of Star Trek episodes. Tomorrow we did our first episode of season 3 of Star Trek Radio Theater. We recorded back on February 19th. The edited version will go out tomorrow. I just have to edit a few more scenes and put background sounds in for that. So that edited version will be posted very soon. As well, this Saturday we'll be doing our live recording of our next edition of Star Trek Radio Theater. We'll be doing it at 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, March 5th, 2022. The episode Hiding Q from Next Generation's first season. We got Jody Simpson coming in to play Q. I'll be playing Picard. And then we got Commander Riker as played by Steve Shives from his YouTube channel. We have Discovery's own Michael Chan as Lieutenant Commander Data.
All I see is Michael Chan there.
Michael Chan playing Data.
You didn't put Discovery's. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't put Discovery's own.
He was Radio Theater first, so I think Discovery should put Star Trek Radio Theater's own.
Also starring Radio Theater's own Michael Chan. That would be more appropriate, maybe. Anyway, so we got a great cast coming together for this. We're really excited. Ashley's narrating, Kevin's playing Wesley Crusher, my wife Jane playing Dr. Beverly Crusher, and Mott playing Worf, as he did in First Contact when we did that at the end of 2021. Jeff Mader playing the youngest version of Geordie LaForge he's ever played. We'll see what that means for his performance.
Red shirt Geordie LaForge.
Red shirt Geordie LaForge as well.
There's no coolant leaks.
No coolant leaks. He doesn't even know what that is. All he knows is about the inertial dampeners are offline or something like that. Whatever pilots talk about. And he's a helmsman in that first season. What else have we got to talk about? Oh, Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. That's a channel Jeff Mader and I and Jaemeel Robinson have, where we talk about all kinds of shows and movies not related to Star Trek. And so right now we're covering Big Brother Canada 10. We just started into that this week. I'll be on later tonight talking with Jaemeel Robinson about the eviction. The first eviction was tonight, and who got sent packing in the Big Brother Canada house. Also, we'll be doing a Survivor season 42 cast preview this Sunday. And draft results. Jameel's got the first pick in the Survivor draft. Who will he take? Not the Canadian, I can tell you that much. He's not a homer for Canadians. And so if you want to know about the Survivor season, check that out. We talked about Marvel over there. We talk about shows like Ozark, all kinds of different shows you can check out. If you want us to talk about something, we'll do it. Even if it's Gilligan's Island, we'll eventually get to it. And then Trivial Debates is our monthly show. We argue about movies, TV, sports in a game show format each month, last Sunday of each month. Jeff Mader just hosted the most recent one. We had Jody Simpson, Jaemeel Robinson, and Max competing. It was a great episode. Check that out over on that channel. And someone else here? Look who, I guess Jeff is here.
Jeff at 9ish.
Jeff, we were talking about how you gave it a 3. You gave that Rise episode. Unbelievable. Can't hear you.
Yeah.
I call steamed bananas on his rating.
Steamed bananas.
Jameel gave it like a
Steamed
4.5.
bananas.
I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, it was Dav and Jaemeel and Jeff were negative, but Jeff was the most negative on it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, not a fan. I don't care about Dax and Worf. Not a fan.
You do not understand.
No.
That's for sure. Anyway, Jeff, we were just plugging all the shows, the Trivial Debates you were most recently on, Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. We'll be talking about, I'm going to talk with Jaemeel with Big Brother tonight, the most recent eviction. And Michael Chan, what do you got going on over at the Hellbound podcast?
Well, we just released an episode yesterday. It was actually a really, really fun episode. I attempted to eat Takis. Have you heard of Takis chips?
Yeah, like from Mexico?
Yeah, I've never had any before, and my co-host was telling me how it's just like he's like crying when he tried them. So found them at Walmart, so I decided to eat them on the air. Since horror podcasts, might as well just have some actual horror happen on air.
They sting the nostrils.
It was a delayed reaction. At first, I was like getting overconfident, so I ate more to try to give people the ASMR, and all of a sudden it just hit, and I was like, uh-oh. So that was a lot of fun. We have good recommendations for horror for any of you looking for something to watch this weekend. My co-host had a real-life horror story, and I make fun of the Freedom Convoy. So,
check that out.
But yes, check us out every Wednesday, the Hellbound Podcast, a horror podcast. We talk everything horror.
All right, I'm in, and check that out. Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan every Wednesday, the Hellbound Podcast. Ash, you got anything going on in your Twitter, your social media?
Yes.
I don't. I'm busy working away on my questions for the trouble with trivia on Locutors Attract.
That's right.
Next episode is, but there's some good questions in there.
Great segue. Locutors Attract, Davin Scalehorn's Star Trek themed channel, which you can go over to. They do the trivias, they do the debate nines, they do all kinds of great segments over there, Star Trek themed. Davin Scalehorn and Dave Pugsley from Locutors Attract. Check that out. They're putting out new content all the time.
Have me on, Davin. When do you want me on? Anyway.
Yeah, hey, call his agent, Davin, and get that booked. Right?
Yeah. Have your people reach out to my people.
Yes, all the peoples. Also, you should check out Davin's other podcast. It's called X-Rated. X-Men the animated series rewatch series, and I was just on this past Tuesday. We were talking about Till Death Do Us Part, which was the first episode of season 2 of X-Men the animated series. Davin and Andre from that podcast, they just interviewed Erica and Julia Leewald from who were the creators of that show, the executive producers of the show. They did like an hour and a half interview with them. It was really interesting and great. I highly recommend you check that out. And lastly, you should check out a podcast called Let's Talk About Fighting Games. It's created by my son, Eamon Mader, under his alias, Sam Jerka. Origin undetermined. Along with Sonic Smash Bro Seth. You gotta work on that. And Paranoia. They talk about everything from Dragon Ball Z to Street Fighter 5.
That is so Canadian.
Yes,
Dragon Ball Z.
It's all comes back to Dragon Ball Z.
We don't
Jaemeel
say
said-
Z in
You
this
also watch
country.
Naruto?
What's that?
Do you also watch Naruto?
No.
Nothing. Never
I
mind.
would say no.
This is mispronouncing names now.
Jaemeel wants the link so he can come on here and tell us why that Ryza episode wasn't good. He wants to
No,
defend
you
his.
said enough on Tuesday.
He did say enough.
We had our piece, and I think the verdict was determined that episode is at best a 6.3 out of 10.
Ashley's rating brought it up.
Yeah.
But you didn't include
Okay.
Amanda's rating. Amanda gave it a 4.
Amanda doesn't vote in that.
She does now.
Oh no.
No.
She's a fresh observer. She's only watched 3 Deep Space Nine episodes. I think that says something.
The episode is averaging at 6.9 now, but it's the most polarizing episode of Deep Space Nine ever
Yeah,
for us.
3 loved it, 3 hated it.
Yeah. Jaemeel says, "Go Amanda,"
Right.
with the negative vote. Bring down that rating, she says. Anyway,
We will band together.
we'll be Jeff, are you joining us for Big Brother tonight?
I have not watched the episode, but I can maybe skim through it quick.
Yeah, well, if you get off now, we can probably you can probably get a little bit of it in, or just kind of fast forward to the eviction. But I'm going to be talking about that with Jaemeel Robinson in the next 26 minutes. So I got to get off here. Just
Last thing, guys. So Instagram advertised this to me. Do you think I would look good in whatever? What is this? What is
Gore-Tex.
this?
It's
Yes,
Gore-Tex,
I think-
Jerry.
Michael,
What?
I think you would look phenomenal in that. Please buy it and
Keeps
wear
you
it
warm. It's from Nordstrom.
every time.
What?
No, that's a hard no for me.
If you're gonna buy that, Michael, you also have to buy the jean panties that Nordstrom also.
What is going on with this? Like, what is this?
Is that like a skirt, or there's just like
I don't know what's going on in this picture.
is that for women or men?
Both.
Both?
Like,
I'm
gender-
We don't do gender.
I don't know.
today. This is 2022.
yeah, it's gender neutral.
I don't think it should be for any gender.
I don't know what this is.
Neutral or not.
Oh my god.
That's bizarre. Nordstrom.
You're the uniform guy. You tell me. What
Guys,
is this? The new,
No,
the new,
don't
new,
add that.
new
That's not
mission
Starfleet
suit.
issue. That's not Starfleet issue. You
I
can't
think
use
it's something they would wear in like Finland. It's really cold. They don't have a lot of need for tight
What
spaces.
about the arms? What about the arms, man?
It's the new Breen
You're starting the
uniform.
wrong spot.
All right.
It's a drop
That-
shoulder.
That's it. Jeff, did you watch the episode of Star Trek Discovery?
I did not.
Okay. But
I had to crawl.
you're looking forward to it one day, right?
I haven't watched the last 2 seasons, to be honest with you. I've watched Picard. I'll watch that.
You watch the newest one of Picard tonight?
No, I'll watch it later, but I have
Okay.
not watched
Jeff,
it.
now that I'm in Discovery, would that convince you to actually start watching?
Do you know what? I will watch it for you, Michael.
Thank
I'll
you.
watch it for you.
That's right. That's right. Paramount Plus. I did my job.
He's got, he
You
got
got
Jeff-
another viewer.
they're
And
"Can
I
you
will get
Jeff
Amanda to
watch
watch it."
Discovery?"
So that's 2 right there. And Prudence. That's 6 eyeballs.
You got
All
a whole
right.
6
Yeah.
meter eyeballs on the show coming your way.
I got William to watch an episode. I won't talk about what he said about it.
Loved it. I'm sure. Okay. Well, on that note, I think we can close out this episode. Thank you to Michael and to Ashley and the cameos we had tonight from Jeff and David and Jody and everybody else coming in. This was quite the affair. What a day. Two episodes of Star Trek coming out the same day. And on that note, maybe we can sign off with a quote from the episode. Live long and podcast, and we'll see you next time.
What kind of idiot would pull a practical joke in the middle of an existential threat?
I don't know.
Well, then get off comms and get me an answer.
Hi, Commander.
Hi, Commander.